Be me. 29 FHR generalist at Nexora Media, a small tech branding agency, have a master's in organizational behavior. Degree cost about as much as a new BMW. Still tell myself it was worth it because it gave me a framework. Power structures, intersectionality, systemic inequity, all the fun stuff. Nexora is my first actual grown-up career job. Offices in Seattle. Mostly spend my days mediating arguments between designers about creative energy and organizing our monthly inclusion lunch. I take it insanely seriously. I am the keeper of the safe space. I pushed the fragrance-free policy through after 2 months of resistance. I replaced the men's, women's restroom signs with urinals and stalls. I am, in fact, doing the work. Then Nexora starts expanding. Company buys the half-dead warehouse next door. Plan is to turn it into some huge content production studio. Podcast rooms, green screens, stream sets, VR space, a whole thing. Massive renovation project. Leadership hires Iron Line Construction. Old school union contractor. The kind with giant trucks and even bigger tools, and guys who look like they were built in a factory. For the past 11 weeks, my office has basically been a war zone. The renovation shares a wall with my workspace. Every morning at 7:00 on the dot, it starts. Jackhammers shaking my fillings loose. Drills screaming through drywall like tortured ghosts. Dust coating my little succulents on the windowsill. But honestly, the noise isn't even the worst part. It's the presence. These guys take up space in a way that feels confrontational. They cut through our lobby to use the side entrance. Muddy boots on polished concrete floors. Neon safety vests. So bright, they feel violent. They smell like diesel, sawdust, and old sweat. It throws the whole atmosphere off. Completely wrecks the vibe. Then the incident happens. Gray, rainy, Tuesday. Standard Pacific Northwest Depression weather. I'm in the kitchenette making a latte, using the little whisk frother, because if I'm doing this, I'm doing it right. Kitchenette window looks out into the narrow alley between our building and the warehouse. That alley is the designated break area for the Iron Line crew. I look out, and there they are. Maybe 9 or 10 of them smoking cigarettes that absolutely drift toward our HVAC intake. By the way, eating giant, meat-packed sandwiches from a food truck, I spot the foreman. Everyone calls him Big Ray. Guy is enormous. Like 6 feet 4 inches easy. Huge beard. Hands like cinder blocks. Wearing a Carhartt jacket that looks older than some of our interns. He's standing there talking with a few younger guys. Apprentices probably. I crack the window open just a little. Tell myself I'm checking smoke infiltration. Really. I'm monitoring the culture. If I'm responsible for workplace climate, I need to know what energy is around the building. I hear Ray talking. Voice sounds like gravel in a garbage disposal. He goes, I told him you can't just shove it in there. You got to lube the coupling. Line it up. Then ease it in. You force it and you'll wreck the threads. The group loses it. Full-body caveman laughter. One apprentice smacks his leg and goes, That's what she said. Chief. Ray grins through the beard. Big white teeth flash. Then he says, Pipework is delicate. Kid. Respect the tolerances. More laughing. I slam the window shut. My hand is shaking. Heart hammering in my chest. I feel nauseous. It is 2026. We are in a professional environment. And these men are out there making sexual innuendos about plumbing parts, objectifying language, misogynistic undertones, equating women with objects and fittings, literal textbook hostile environment material. I just stand there staring at my latte. Foam collapsed while I was listening. Felt symbolic. Like my faith in humanity deflating in real time. Then I get that spark. This isn't just annoying. This is an opening. My chance to prove my role matters here. Anyone can file a complaint. Complaints are passive. I need to be an agent of change. I need to civilize this space. Next 48 hours. I'm in full tunnel vision mode. Ignore payroll emails. Ignore 3 Slack messages about office temperature drama. Ignore a designer complaining the standing desks feel ableist. I'm building a proposal. Title. Workplace synergy. Bridging the blue-collar/white-collar divide through inclusive language. Yes. I made the title long on purpose. Sounds important. I pull up the master services contract with Ironline. Thing is like 190 pages of legal sludge. I comb through it looking for leverage. Find it on page 38, clause 4. Ye. Subsection B. Contractor agrees to comply with client workplace standards regarding safety, conduct, and anti-harassment while on client premises. Bingo. Our workplace standards are intense. Quarterly DEI training is mandatory for everyone on site. If they're on our property, they're under our conduct. Policy's simple. I start designing the workshop. It has to be comprehensive. Gender identity spectrum. Microaggressions and humor. Pronoun respect. Toxic masculinity in trades culture. Inclusive communication during manual labor operations. I block off a 3-hour intensive for Friday afternoon. Perfect timing. End of week. They can't be too busy forever. Thursday morning. I march into the COO's office. Ryan. Ryan is peak startup guy. Expensive sneakers. Quarter zip. Mechanical keyboard loud enough to sound like rifle fire. I go, Ryan? We have a situation. He jerks and looks up. What happened? Did the site go down? No. It's the construction crew. I tell him I've documented repeated instances of sexually charged and exclusionary rhetoric in shared spaces. I slide a manila folder across his desk, printed the pipe fitting, quote, on company letterhead. Looked more official. That way. Isai. If one of our interns hears this, we're looking at a Title VII problem, hostile work environment, third-party liability. Ryan's face goes pale immediately. Title VII. Are you serious? Dead serious. Tell him we have both a legal obligation and a moral one to intervene. He does the startup panic blink. Okay. Do I call Ironline's owner? I put my hand up. No. That would create conflict. We are not escalating. We are educating. Tell him I've already built a training module. Want the crew brought in for a mandatory seminar tomorrow. He stares at me. Tomorrow. They're pouring the server room slab this week. They're on a tight timeline. I lean in. What's more expensive? Ryan A. 3-hour delay. Or a multi-million-dollar settlement. I let that number sit there and do the work. He rubs his temples like he's getting a migraine. Looks completely drained. Fine. But you need the foreman to approve the stoppage. If he signs off, I'll approve site access. He thinks they'll refuse. He thinks I'm intimidated by them. He has no idea. I actually do my best work when I'm cornered and morally correct. Time for the confrontation. I gear up for the site walk like I'm deploying overseas. Put on the company hard hat. Bright white. Still looks brand new. Never seen a speck of dust in its life. Pull on an orange safety vest from our visitor rack. It's huge on me. Have to cinch it with a belt so it stops flapping. Wear my expensive waterproof boots. The field-ready pair. I bought mostly for aesthetics. Go out the back door and step straight into the construction chaos. Sound hits me like a wall. Metal grinding. Guys yelling over each other. Scissor lift backing up with that constant beep. And beep. And beep. Air is thick with dust and damp cold. Ground is mud and broken gravel. I pick my way around puddles because I refuse to ruin my boots. Spot Big Ray near a stack of rebar. He's looking down at a tablet, even bigger up close, Somehow smells like black coffee and old leather. I walk right up to him. Excuse me. For him in. He doesn't look at me right away. Finishes typing on the tablet first. Then slowly turns his head. Looks down at me. I have to tilt my whole neck back. Can I help you, ma'am? You need to stay in the marked zones. Active site. I square my shoulders. I'm Hannah, HR lead for Nexora. The client. He gives one slow nod. Face completely unreadable. All right. Hannah. What can I do for the client? We need to address your crew's conduct. I've observed behavior that violates Nexora's core values and contract language on harassment and workplace standards. His eyes narrow just a little. Barely. Is that right? My guys are pretty focused on the work. Mom? The language. Right? It's exclusionary. It's outdated. To ensure compliance, I'm scheduling a mandatory training session tomorrow. Friday. Ena niczpe m. Dvenic štirinicpe m. Mandatory. He repeats the word like he's testing it. Mandatory. Yes. Under Clause 4. One subsection B in the Site Conduct Writer. Not even sure I needed to say Site Conduct Writer. But it sounded official. He glances past me and says nothing for a second. Who exactly is attending this training? Everyone. You. Your subs. Apprentices. Laborers. Every pair of boots on this site. Ray just looks at me. Then checks his watch. Then looks over at his plumber guy named Marty. Short. Thick. Built like a fire hydrant. Looks like he eats nails for breakfast. Marty raises one eyebrow. Ray looks back at me. I'm waiting for pushback. Waiting for the "we're too busy" speech. Waiting for him to try to bully me out of it. Instead, his expression does something weird. Almost like he's amused. But not exactly. More like he's doing math in his head. He pulls a little black notebook out of his vest pocket. Licks his thumb. Flips pages like he's checking troop movements. Friday. 1300. That's mid-rough in 3. Our shutdown means full secure procedure and restart. I hold eye contact. Culture comes first. Ray, we build people before we build spaces. I actually said that out loud. And honestly, I was proud of it. Ray looks at the notebook again. Then closes it. All right. Ma'am, if the client issues a direct stop work order for mandatory training, we comply. That's the job. Just like that, I went good. We'll use the main conference room. The Innovation Hub. I expect full attendance. No phones. You got it. I'll let the steward know. I walk back inside, basically levitating, adrenaline pumping so hard, my hands are buzzing. I just stared down the alpha male foreman. And he folded. He knows he crossed the line. He knows the world changed. He knows he has to catch up, get back to my desk and text my boyfriend. He's a craft bartender and does spoken word on weekends. Just crushed the patriarchy at work. Champagne tonight. Seminar day. Friday morning is total controlled chaos. I treat it like I'm preparing for a TED Talk. Finish a 68 slide deck. Memes. Charts. Harm impact statements. Communication models. A whole section on language and power. Set up the room myself. Push tables into a collaborative U shape. Adjust the lights lower so the projector looks better. Turn on the diffuse. Lavender and eucalyptus blend. Calming energy. Order catering from a local vegan cafe. Gluten-free mini muffins. Kale chips. Little ginger wellness shots. Want to demonstrate that nourishment doesn't have to mean grease and meat. 12:40 p.m. Everything is ready. I'm in my power blazer. Smart glasses on. Clicker in hand. 12:40 m. I hear them before I. Dozens of steel-toe boots coming down the polished hallway. Sounds like a marching column. Like we're being occupied. Door opens. Ray comes in first. Tool, belt is off. Dirty vest still on. Clipboard in one hand. Actual pen in the other. Behind him, they file in electricians, plumbers, drywall guys, laborers, big dudes, skinny dudes, older guys, kids who still look like apprentices. The room feels smaller with every person that enters. Then the smell hits. Sweat, drywall, dust, flue, wet clothes. It wipes out the lavender in like 2 seconds. Smells like actual work. They sit down. I'm expecting eye rolls. Jokes. Manspreading. Disruption. But they don't. They sit there straight back. Alert. Dead quiet. No whispering. No phone screens. No side conversations. Ray takes the seat front and center like he's in a deposition. Marty sits on his right. Electrical foreman on the left. Everyone calls him Sparks. Ray clicks his pen once and looks directly at me. All personnel present. Mom. Clock is active. His tone is polite. To polite like customer service voice from a guy who could bench press my car. I start anyway. Welcome everyone. I'm Hannah. Nothing. Just rows of eyes on me. Unblinking. 4, 0. Something men, staring, like I'm reading out a launch sequence. I try an opening line. I know you're used to building walls. Today we're going to learn how to take them down. Pause for the metaphor to land. Not a single smile. Not even a courtesy chuckle. Ray writes something on his clipboard. Actual note-taking. I move into the deck. Slide 5. The gingerbread person diagram. Expression. Identity. Attraction. The spectrum breakdown. I'm bracing for the smirks. Waiting for someone to elbow the guy next to him. Nothing. They're all staring at the screen like it's a safety briefing before a crane lift. Marty raises his hand. Full hand up, like middle school. Yes. Marte. Mom? On the spectrum model, are we treating that as a single continuum or a multi-axis system with independent variables? I just blink at him for a second. I think I misheard. It's more of a fluid spectrum. He nods like, I answered a real technical question. Copy that. Non-binary variable set. Thank you. Then writes it down in block letters. I'm a little thrown off, but also kind of impressed. They're participating. They are genuinely participating. M. We get to the inclusive language section. I put up the slide with restricted terms. Guys. Dude. Foreman. Manpower. Man-hours. I explain how manpower erases women and non-binary labor contributions. Ray raises his hand immediately. Miss Hannah. Yes. Right? Need to confirm for compliance. For daily reports and billing entries. You are directing us to discontinue the term man-hour. His phrasing is so formal. It's almost military. Yes. It's outdated. Use person hours or labor units. Ray turns his head and looks at Sparks. Sparks gives one serious nod. Ray writes it down. Underlines it twice. Understood. Policy-driven terminology change. Labor units going forward. Sparks raises his hand next. Mom. Electrical question. Yes. Industry language uses master, slave in some control systems, and male, female for connectors. Are those terms also prohibited under site conduct standards? Yes. Those are rooted in oppressive language structures. Use primary, secondary, and plug, receptacle. Sparks goes still, like I just told him. The National Electrical Code changed. That affects labeling conventions and drawing callouts. Mom. But if this is the client's directive, we'll comply. Understood. We'll revise terminology and field references to match cultural requirements. Then he starts writing like his pencil is on fire. I feel this rush, like actual power. I am literally changing the language of an entire trade in real time. 237. M. The room has this heavy pressure in it. Not openly hostile, just intense. Compressed. Like everyone's waiting for instructions. I decide we need to shift format, get them moving. Okay. Let's do a role-play exercise. I ask for volunteers. Ray stands up immediately. I'll do it. Ma'am. Of course he does. I ask for one more. Marte. Can you help? Marty stands too. Face completely serious, like he's about to demonstrate lockout-tagout. All right. Ray? You're the supervisor. Marty? You're a new hire. Marty uses they, them pronouns. Marty just made a mistake on the job. Correct them without using gendered language. Ray turns toward Marty. The room goes silent in a way I can actually hear the HVAC. Ray takes a breath. Then in the most careful voice possible says, Marte, valued teammate. I observe the conduit run is out of plumb. As a person with full workplace agency, would you please correct the vertical alignment of this installation? Marty nods like we're in a board meeting. Thank you for the constructive feedback. Supervisor. I appreciate the respectful delivery. I will correct the spatial alignment immediately. It sounds insane. Like two customer service robots doing improv. But technically it is perfect. I clap. Bright smile. Excellent. Say. That wasn't so hard. Ray sits back down. No. Mum? Just a higher cognitive load. Then writes that down. 2. I hear him mutter while he notes it. Cognitive load. Tripetneist. P. M. I'm starting to run low on material. Problem is, they're not arguing, and I had mentally prepared to win arguments. Can't triumph over resistance if nobody resists. So, I pull out the emotional piece. The big one. Let's do a visualization exercise. Everyone close your eyes. They do it instantly. All of them. 4-0. Plus hard hats and work vests. With their eyes closed in my conference room, I start guiding it. Imagine a world where buildings aren't designed for your body, where your safety gear doesn't fit, where the language around you tells you that you don't belong. Sit with that discomfort. Really feel what exclusion does to a person. The room goes still. Completely still. Minute pass. 5. Then more. Nobody fidgets. Nobody peeks. I watch them from the front of the room. Some heads are bowed. Hands folded. One laborer has his jaw clenched so hard. I can see the muscles jump. Ray has one hand covering his eyes. His shoulders are moving a little. Small shake. I stare at him. Is he trembling? Is he crying? Is this actually happening? Is the foreman of a union concrete crew having an emotional breakthrough in my inclusion seminar? My chest gets tight in a good way. This is it. This is the moment. The shift. The thing people mean when they talk about transformation. Tripetin pedicit pe. M. I bring them back. Okay. Everyone. Open your eyes. They open them slowly. Ray looks up at me. His eyes are red. Face tired. Like he just came out of surgery. That was heavy. Mum. I nod like a coach after a championship speech. Growth is heavy. Ray. Yes? What have you? It is. Shtirinichpe. M. I end on time. Thank you all for being here. I hope you carry this back into the field. Please grab muffins on your way out. Ray stands first. Looks at the crew. All right. Cite secure protocol. Mark the code. Let's move. They file out in the same order they came in. Quiet. Organized. No jokes. No muttering. Nobody touches the vegan muffins. Not one. They leave the kale chips untouched. 2. I'm alone in the room with the projector hum and an empty diffuser. Lavender gone. Eucalyptus gone. Just me and 40 tiny ginger shots sweating on a table. I feel wrung out, but victorious. Like I just did field surgery on toxic masculinity. I email Ryan immediately. Subject line: huge win. Training breakthrough. Body text basically says, transformation achieved. Go home. Drink 3 glasses of Pinot. Sleep like a saint. Fast forward a week. I'm still riding the high. Telling myself, I probably changed the entire trajectory of that crew. Haven't seen much of them. They've been weirdly quiet. No loud breaks. No jokes. Drifting in through the alley. Just work noises, and then silence. Friday. 12 p.m. Slack message from Ryan pops up. Come to my office now. No emoji. No thumbs up. No little rocket. Ryan always uses emojis. Always. Immediately get a bad feeling. Walk over his office. Door's already open. Ryan is at his desk, looking like he hasn't slept. There's another guy in the room. Tailored suit. Slicked back hair. Sharp face. Expression like he bills by the minute. Looks like a shark who learned Excel. Recognize him from the vendor kickoff packet. Iron Line CFO? Ryan says, sit down. His voice is shaking a little. Isit? What's going on? Ryan slides a document across the desk toward me. It's an invoice. Invoice number 4, 172R2. I look at the total at the bottom. 39美元. 880. I actually gasp. What is this? What am I looking at? The shark suit guy folds his hands. That, Ms. Hanna, is the bill for your seminar. I do this nervous little laugh because my brain refuses to process it. No, that's impossible. It was 3 hours. You cannot bill almost $40. 000 for 3 hours. The CFO smiles. Same dead-eyed smile, like a guy who enjoys spreadsheets more than sunlight. Let me walk you through the itemization. He opens a binder. Of course, he brought a binder. Tabs and everything. Item 1. 47 unions personnelles for 3 hours. 47. Not 45. Apparently, 2 more guys showed up and signed in. Base wage varies by trade. But the burden bill rate averages $142 per hour. That includes fringe, pension, insurance, and overhead allocation. I do the math in my head and immediately hate the answer. It's around 20 grand. Okay, then where is the rest coming from? He turns the binder slightly so I can see the next line. Item 2. Consultant reclassification. Excuse me. He doesn't even blink. Per Article 12 of the Labor Agreement, any client-mandated activity not tied to production, safety, or code compliance is billable as specialty consultation. You halted trade operations and required attendance for a corporate policy implementation seminar. That converts the crew to consultants for the duration. My mouth literally falls open. Consultants. Yes. Consultation rate is 2 times burdened rate. $284 per hour average. I stare at him. You can't just do that. He closes one hand on the binder ring, like he's done this speech before. We can, and we did. Your foreman documented your wording very carefully. Mandatory corporate policy implementation. His notes are excellent. That is consultant work? I look at Ryan. He looks pale green like he might throw up on his own standing desk. He says, barely above a whisper, keep going. Show her the add-ons? Add-ons. Like this is a pizza order. I look back down. Item 3. Administrative revision. 4美元. 980. What administrative revisions? The CFO flips a page. Your directives required terminology changes in field logs, labels, and internal shorthand. Man-hours to labor units. Master. Slave references replaced with primary, secondary. Connector nomenclature changes in active documentation. That triggered updates to templates, software fields, and reprint time for marked drawings. We bill the admin labor. My ears start ringing. I feel lightheaded, like the room is tilting a little. Then I see the next one. Item 4. Psychological recovery accommodation. Wumeiren. Lupe. I actually yelp. What is that? The shark checks his notes, like he's reading a weather report. The visualization exercise. Foreman Ray documented prolonged emotional stress exposure and guided trauma-style processing. Under union health and wellness provisions, affected workers were entitled to a compensated cool-down period. Crew was stood down for the final hour to process. Overtime rate applied to shift recovery. My stomach drops through the floor. I remember Ray covering his eyes, his shoulders shaking. I thought he was crying. I thought I was watching a breakthrough. He was laughing. That son of a was laughing and running out the clock and taking notes while he did it. This is fraud. Ischnop. Voice way louder than I meant. The CFO closes the binder. Kaum. Clean. Finished. No. Ms. Hannah. This is a contract. You invoked the contract. You used its language. So did we. Ryan slams his palm on the desk so hard, I jump. Hannah. This invoice wipes out our Q2 bonus pool. It kills the studio launch party. It kills the espresso bar upgrade. The one facility's already approved. Ryan? I was trying to improve the culture. He points at the invoice like it personally insulted him. You bought us a $40. 000 lecture. Nobody asked for. Do you know what Ray told me? I don't answer. I already know this is going to hurt. He said it was the most profitable Friday afternoon they've had in months. Then he asked if you were planning a follow-up module. The aftermath starts right there. HR generalist getting HR'd. I'm placed on indefinite administrative leave effective immediately. Which is corporate for legal, is drafting the termination paperwork. I go back to my desk and fog pack my stuff into a recycled cardboard box. Diffusé. Succulent. My little ceramic mug with the ally sticker on it. A stack of unclaimed pronoun buttons. Whole career fits in one box, apparently. I leave through the back because I do not have the emotional stamina for the lobby. It's pouring. Absolute wall of rain. Of course it is. Have to walk past the job site to get to my car. Crew is packing up for the weekend. Loading tools. Strapping ladders. Mud everywhere. I see Ray leaning against a giant Ford F-350. Platinum or King Ranch or whatever rich contractor trim it is. Truck looks enormous, like it has its own zip code. Probably cost more than my grad school debt. He sees me. Sees the box in my arms. And he doesn't smirk. Doesn't gloat. Doesn't do the fake sympathy thing either. Just gives me a slow nod. Almost respectful. Evening. Miss Hannah. I stop in the mud. Rain soaking through my blazer in about 5 seconds. You knew exactly what you were doing. Ray opens the truck door halfway. Looks at me with those tired job site eyes. The kind that have seen 30 winters and bad concrete pours and layoffs. Mom? I've been union for 32 years. I know that agreement better than my Bible. Then he points at me. One calloused finger. Folks in offices always think they're the only ones who understand power. We understand power just fine. Power is getting paid for your time. Power is the contract. I can barely hear myself over the rain. I was trying to help you. I was trying to make you better men. He gives this dry little chuckle. Not cruel. Just tired. We didn't ask for help. We sell our backs and our hands on this site, not our heads. If the client wants to rent our heads for 3 hours, client paye premium. Jerktux. I mutta. Ray smiles a little. Consultant fee. Mum? Consultant fee. He climbs in and starts the truck. Engine roars like a monster waking up. Marty walks past with a pipe wrench over his shoulder. Tips his hard hat at me. Have a good weekend. Miss. Me and the wife are getting steak tonight off the emotional recovery money. Then he winks. The crew laughs. Not nasty laughter. Not mean. Just a laugh of guys who got paid. I trudge to my Camry. Getting soaked. Set the box on the passenger seat. Car smells like wet fabric and bad decisions. I sit there while the trucks roll out one by one. Ford. Chevy. Ram. Like an 80. Noll parade. I check my phone. Bank notification. Student loan auto pay due Monday. 512美元. I have $126 in checking. Those guys just made close to $1,000 each for nodding at my PowerPoint and saying, "Valued teammate." I start the car. Wipers smacking back and forth, like they're judging me. And it finally clicks. I didn't dismantle anything. I financed it. And they handed me an invoice for the privilege